sorting. We're gonna look at the desk. All right, will you hold up your?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So another one that Kennedy's making is that guy, which is a bunch of bubbles. It's supposed to look like a bunch of bubbles or sea foam or something.
Yeah.
And there, again, are a lot of ways you could probably do this. So I'm going to make a new file and just show you one way I might approach it using like 3D sketch positioning. So this might be one that we actually build as a solid, but we still use the like 3D sketch positioning thing to position all of those bubbles where we want them. So, and a note to everyone else here, it's looking like I might not have a chance to go as deep with everyone, but a lot of the things that we're addressing here are going to relate to a lot of what you guys are doing. So I'll try and cut this stuff together and put it up in the next day or so. Okay, so first things first, we're doing Votive Candle. I'm going to make a reference here really quick to like about how tall this should be, so like 2 inches and about 1.5 inches in diameter. It shows up in millimeters. Cool. Top plane. I'm also going to do a little reference. All the lines are black, which means I should be good to go. I'm going to just call this like master sketch reference front plane, and then I would do the same thing here. Master sketch reference top plane. Cool. I'm going to save really quick. No, I'm not designing a nano drone frame right now. In progress. Okay. All right. The other thing I'm going to add to my sketch here is a like central axis, because I'm going to use that in my 3D sketch. Okay, so what I was talking about.
Have 2 planes?
Right now I have, the 2 planes, yeah, I just use the front and top plane and the right plane, and those are just like my references. Alright, so in order to position a bunch of these bubbles all over the place exactly where you want them, I'm going to use a 3D sketch. And I'm going to start creating a couple things here. I'm going to, I'll just make a couple kind of like arbitrary lines. Notice like these lines, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where they are in space. Like that one, alright, I'm just gonna, there we go. So they kind of snap to be, in this case, there are some new relations you can add to lines and say like make it along the x-axis or y-axis or z-axis. In this case, this one's like along the x-axis, which means it's directly sticking out that way. This one I think is in the z-axis. Yeah, it's coming out in the z-axis. All right, that why is that important? Those are going to be my construction lines for this guy. Okay. Now, I'm going to dimension a couple things. So like this is going to be, sure, 20 millimeters off the ground. And then this, I want to be, you know what? That's going to be another dimension too. I want that to be like, I don't know, 13 millimeters out. All I really care about right now is where that point is. Okay? And because we're making a bunch of little like globes basically somewhere around the outside perimeter of this circle, I want to make sure that this dot is somewhere near the perimeter of the circle. Okay. I add dimensions in all 3. Basically, like this is the y dimension, how far off the ground plane this thing is, how far from one side and to the other side. Okay. I'm going to get out of this sketch for now. And again, all I really care about is that point. Now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to use that sketch to make a reference plane. And in this case, maybe I could use that as a reference plane. Yeah, you know what, why not? We'll use that as my reference plane. Notice if I wanted to go back to this, like, I might even call this like my master 3D positioning sketch. I could click on this sketch and like move my line up or whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna sketch on this guy. And how do we make a globe in 3D?
You would just do like a semicircle or something,
Yeah.
and then they just revolve.
Yep, that's it. So I might do a semicircle and revolve it, and I might actually try to do, if this is a solid, oh man. Just to make my life easy, I'm gonna make sure that like the middle of that line lines up with the point in like the middle of our plane that we set up. Do a half circle, and I'm gonna make like the central of the circle, the center of the circle line up. Why is it still blue? Because we need a like dimension. How big is this thing? Sure, 6 millimeters. I don't know. We can always go back and change it. Okay. We're going to revolve it. And
Are you doing that as a body?
Yep, and I'm doing this as a solid because I think for yours, it's actually going to make it easier for us to just do this as a solid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have one cube, or I guess one sphere. But we're going to need like dozens and dozens of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So for each additional sphere, I might go back in here and make some other lines. And again, like, I want a line that is in each dimension. So that one's along the x-axis. This one I'm going to make along the z-axis. And my other dimension is right here, this like central axis. I want those to be construction lines. It doesn't really matter, but for me I like to think of them as construction lines because they're kind of dimensions. And same thing, like I can dimension all of these. I don't have to, but it makes it easier to tweak stuff later. So I'm just gonna do a couple more of these really quick to get the point across. Make this one in Z, make that one in X. Maybe I have this kind of over here. Make these construction. Okay, so I've got a couple more of these things. You know what? I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna move this one. No. Dude. Oh my goodness. I just wanna like move this over here. No, don't snap. I don't want it to snap there. Anyway. Okay. Get out of there. Same thing. I'm going to make some reference planes for each one of my sketches. Line and a point. And then on each one of these, I can make another sphere. So after, I might as well make at least one more of these. I'm going to sketch on it, do my, is there like a half circle tool? I'm going to do a circle tool. And then use a line to like cut it in half, and then I'm going to use my trim tool to just, yeah, that was a lot easier. Maybe this one is, sure, big. Okay, let me get out of there. My revolved thing. I'm going to maybe not merge them yet. Okay, cool. Alright, so another thing that we can do with this master sketch is, like, that one was maybe too far out. I can change the dimension, and it should update exactly where that is. So you should pretty easily be able to position and move all of these things around. It's going to take a lot of work to kind of get them all where you want them. But yeah, that's how I would go about doing this one.
And then do I need to like do the same where I like select it all and like Since they're solid bodies, is it just like knitting it together?
Oh yeah, okay. So eventually at the end, when you have all of these things in place, you might end up having to do a quick like sketch on the top plane with a circle that you like extrude
Oh, just to fill the
up
space.
to fill in any extra space. Maybe don't merge it to start. Yeah, and then at the very end, you're going to pick all of your solid bodies and then go to direct editing and say combine and make sure you add, not subtract or whatever else. And it will just like add everything together.
Okay.
And there you go.
And that should be printable and everything?
I mean, yeah. It should be printable.
Okay.
I mean, you might have to watch your positioning on some of these so you don't have like really deep gaps and stuff. Otherwise, you're going to have like weird support material or whatever.
I don't necessarily think this would be like the ones I would just because of that, but like I just wanted to get to know like the 3D sketch and stuff like that.
So that's kind of how one way that you could do it.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
All
right. Let me